I felt like I was watching the Saw film franchise because, Jack dies in episode 6, but he's somehow still there for the rest of it.
Yes.
Jack just keeps dying, though. He's like Kenny on South Park.
Like episode 6. I'm trying to think. I think that was the only one where he outright died.
Yeah.
But
every other episode, he's drinking like turpentine or arsenic or all kinds of shit. And
floor cleaner and...
Yeah, or 100 bottles of whiskey. That motherfucker's dead. Doesn't Dougal even say, like, so is Jack just a ghost now? And he's like, I don't know, Dougal.
I wonder what's on the tube.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being a friend.
What you talking about, Willis?
You are a meathead.
No soup for you.
Don't touch that dial. Adjust those bunny ears, because what time is it?
Drink! Fuck off! Fuck off, drink!
Drink!
It's time for Sitcom My Face. I'm Jay. That's Nick. Where the fuck did you pull this show out of, buddy?
I was looking at a list. Well, let's go back an episode. We were talking about how Too Close for Comfort, and there were multiple shows in that time period that were based originally on a British sitcom.
Too Close for Comfort. I thought you were talking about your gym teacher.
No. That was a different Too Close for Comfort there. But
oh,
hey, now, no. What was that one? Was it like Keep It in the Family? I think was the show that.
Ding 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 dong dong ding.
Oh, that's really Keep It in the Family. But yeah. So Too Close for Comfort and other shows were based on British sitcoms that, of course, a name change and such. So we thought, hey, let's delve in some British sitcoms. And, of course, on the list I picked the one that's Irish.
Yeah, so you picked the most Irish British sitcom of all time.
Exactly. Actually, one of the most well-received and loved British sitcoms.
Father Ted only ran for 25 episodes, and not 3 seasons, Nick, but 3
series.
This has often been confusing to me in my early DVD buying days, because, you search for something like, I want the complete series of this.
Right.
Well, what you end up with a lot of times is a season, to us, is a series. Overseas. So... some people have been duped. I thought I bought the complete series. I bought 1 season is their series. So
do you have any examples of shows that you remember like with that, or
specifically trying to buy on eBay? No, I remember having to sift through them, and especially when I was younger, because I've been buying and collecting movies since I was very young. And just now, I don't know if you could see around me, I have boxes and boxes of movies because I'm actually finally starting to downsize. I just pulled like 1,000 movies out of my collection to get rid of.
Damn.
But I remember being young going, what? This says complete series, but if you look on IMDb, it says it's got 75 more episodes or whatever. But like a lot of shows from especially Britain and apparently Ireland as well, not many episodes for these shows. They don't hammer shit into the ground the way we do over here.
Yeah, 1 season or series may be only about 6 episodes.
For the most famous example, probably The Office.
Correct.
Became one of the most fucking popular shows in America, but started as I think it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais's British version of The Office.
Yeah,
was, I think, 6 episodes, and that's, hey, let's...
Well, and how many people don't even know he created that show and started in that show over there?
Right, yeah.
And maybe go, why the hell is his name on there? Who knows?
Yeah, but most people, in the U.S. are more just aware of The Office that runs in, in syndication on multiple stations nowadays, with Steve Carell and Rainn Wilson and such.
You pulled this show up. I was telling you, I said, just pick one, motherfucker. Pick a damn show. Let's get at it.
Right. Well, but,
And you sent me this.
We had a little problem because as far as streaming channels, you didn't have a couple of the streaming channels. So it's like, I wanted to, okay. Well,
yeah, we unfortunately live in a world where having 6 streaming services just isn't enough.
Yep.
You gotta have 12. Fuck that, all right? I rotate pretty much monthly because I don't like paying all those different things every month. And, you know, a few of them I have, like my roommate lets me use his Netflix. I got another buddy who lets me use his Hulu here and there. So, yeah. So, actually, this one is also on YouTube. So,
Really? Okay.
you can watch the entire series on YouTube or on Prime. And I think there was one more that I don't recall.
Roku. That's where I watched it.
I watched half of it on Prime, half of it on YouTube. Actually, I switched over because on Prime, I think it's on Freevee, which makes you watch ads. But I have YouTube Premium, so on YouTube, I didn't have to watch any ads. So I switched to that.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can watch it with ads on YouTube, kids. And
there we go.
I actually recommend you do, because this show is pretty fucking good.
Oh, yeah. I was quite happily surprised by the show.
Well, let's shoot through the cast real quick, because I had never heard of any of these people, really.
Yeah, same here. Okay, Father Ted. There's 3 main priests that make up the main cast. Father Ted is played by Dermot Morgan. He's Father Ted Crilly. Not Curly, as the one author thought his name was.
He does have bushy ass hair they talk about, though.
Yes. Fluffy, a fluffy bottom. Father Dougal Maguire is played by Ardal O'Hanlon. We'll get into the different things here, but
relationships.
And Father Jack Hackett is played by Frank Kelly.
Drink.
Fuck off. the other person that is in, I think, every episode or most of the episodes is Mrs. Doyle, the housekeeper, played by Pauline McLynn.
Yeah, and I sent you a link for a documentary they did on YouTube. Well, it's on YouTube, but they did it over wherever the hell the show aired. Channel 4 in...
Yep.
Was it on the BBC network? Is that what Channel 4 is from?
Yeah, it's a British free-to-air public broadcast television channel.
Free-to-air, so they probably do have to specify.
Owned, unlike the BBC.
I was going to say, I think over there you have to buy like a license, right, to get TV or some shit? Isn't there some kind of weird...
I think there's something different, overseas there, but yeah, like when we said BBC, well, it's not really the BBC. It was Channel 4, which is publicly owned.
Yeah, I had never seen this show, and honestly, that first episode is fucking brilliant. And now tell me if you felt this, though. Like, the first episode was so good, and then I watched... There's only 6 episodes, I think, in the first series.
Season.
Stop saying season.
Series.
Fucking... God, Americans,
sorry, I'm a damn American.
Fucking Americans, dude. No, so the other 5 in that series are good, but they're not amazing.
As the first one.
The first one. The shit kicks up to fucking 12, right?
Yes.
Because it gets so much better, even.
It does. It does.
Oh.
And I was going to say that because I watched the whole first series, and like you said, first episode was funny, but, it's like, okay, the rest of them were good, but maybe not as good as the first episode. But yeah, as soon as you hit season 2, you hit the ground running and you're off.
I think one of the benefits of watching a show like this, with my new eyes, watching it on YouTube especially, is I get to go to the comments section and see what people are saying about it. And I was amazed to see how many people were going, this is peak Irish humor. Like, this is Irish humor at its best. Because I mean, I've always loved British shows and British. We talk about John Cleese, how much we love people like that.
Of course,
Monty Python in general. Mm-hmm. That humor is just something I've always really loved. So to step over a little bit and see the Irish side of it, it's similar, but you do see a little bit of the nuance.
Yes, yeah.
And it's still that awkward.
A bit of difference, like.
They both lie in that awkward vein of humor, which I absolutely love. Like, Clue is one of my favorite movies of all time, and Clue's got a lot of that, like, to me, that British sensibility, humor-wise. And I felt a lot of that type of humor in the show. But then it will also crank it up to the absurd.
Very much so.
Very Monty Python-esque as well.
Right. And actually, being that you mentioned Monty Python and John Cleese.
Drink!
In 2019, I read, Father Ted was named the second greatest British sitcom after Fawlty Towers. Again, by John Cleese, by a panel of comedy experts for a magazine called Radio Times, a British magazine, or Radio Times, that
I thought
dubbed
it was
the second best ever.
I thought it was very kind of serendipitous. We covered this right after last week's show, Too Close for Comfort.
Right.
There,
different Ted.
Yeah, different Ted, but one, the character dies and is one of the reasons the show ends, or the actor dies, one of the reasons the show ends. Two, this is Monroe done right.
Yes.
Monroe, we talked about how Monroe ruined that show for us. We hated that fucker. And this guy,
Father Dougal McGuire.
He's Monroe, but fucking great.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. Yes, he is. What?
Just those big, dumb, doughy eyes.
Yes. Oh, I love the finale where, like, that Father Dougal thinks he's also going to the United States, and like you said, the doughy eyes. He looks at him, and it's basically like a dog with the droopy eyes, like, aw. It's like, yes. Well, that's.
I didn't see that one, but the very first episode of season 3 or series 3. Oh, you got me doing it now, Nick.
Yep.
Series 3. It starts out with Father Ted at a different. What do they call them? Where's the priest live?
Oh, in this they call them a what the hell is it?
Is it a parish? Is that what it is?
Well, normally it's a parish, but the name of the thing, it's a something house. Shit. Drink.
Every time I drink, I'm gonna quote Father Jack tonight. Anyway, he's living in a different
parochial house. That's what they call it.
Parochial house. He's living in a different parochial house with 2 other priests, and he's like, "Man, it's so great here. Like, I might never go back." And then there is one thing I wanted to talk to you about. And he's like, "Let's take a look at your account and your spending."
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to him opening the door back to Dougal.
Yep.
He's like, "Welcome home, Ted."
Well, let's get into the actual, like, what is the premise of the show? It's like, okay, so we have three priests living at a parochial house on Craggy Island in Ireland. It's basically supposed to be off the West Coast somewhere.
If you watch the documentary, this actually was originally intended to be a mockumentary.
Oh,
which you can kind of get that vibe a little bit if you watch it. We covered a mockumentary style show when we covered Modern Family.
Yes.
But there's a million great mockumentary movies. You know, you think about things like Best in Show or
What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows. So I can see this working as that, but they said, I think they wrote it in, 1990 or 91, the original script, and it wasn't selling. So one of the creators was like, what if we try a sitcom? Like, sitcoms were all the rage. This started airing in 95?
April of 95.
So they said, sitcoms are all the rage at this point, so why don't we try making a sitcom? And that's when it took off.
Right.
But they had a picture of basically a bunch of priests sitting around playing cribbage. And that was basically their inspiration for this show. They were like, these priests can't do anything fun. Like, what did they do? And he's like, they sit around, they play cards, and they're bored, and that's it. That's exactly what this show is.
Yeah, Father Ted himself is sort of the straight man of the priests to the other two. Father Dougal McGuire, as you said, is what Monroe should have been. Basically, he's an idiot.
Well, and that's the thing too is
a naive idiot.
I didn't like his performance or the writing for Monroe in that show. This one, it would have been really easy for some of the things written for him to fail. But his performance is so good.
Yes.
Because he's so innocent and you want to like him because he's so sweet and naive.
Yeah,
but some of the things
he's very childlike in what he reacts to, because even when they go to sleep, did you see what his comforter is?
He-Man sheets and shit,
yes,
like He-Man blankets.
He-Man.
And there was one with like kittens, I think, like random, like what the fuck? Yeah. It's just so funny, but there are lines where you go in a different actor's mouth, they might not work.
Right.
But ironically, the guy who plays Father Ted, not into religion at all, and apparently was very outspoken against religion.
Yeah. Dermot Morgan. Well, it's actually funny too. Not only Dermot Morgan, who played Father Ted, but at least the one writer, Graham Linehan, not Lineman, Linehan. They were both atheists. It's like, oh, okay.
Frank Kelly was still around at the time they did this documentary, so it was really cool to see him. How different he's a nice, distinguished gentleman. He's not Father Jack at all.
They say he's actually like the opposite of Father Jack Hackett. Like he actually is like someone you do want to be around, except when they were at lunch, if they were eating, if he had on the makeup and the flaky skin, they didn't want to sit around him because it would get into the food.
Yeah. He still had the teeth too. He put the fake those nasty ass teeth in.
Fake teeth, and also the contacts to make it look like he had a cataract.
Yeah. So him and the actor who played Dougal, they were in there and they fully embraced it. He goes, I want to be recognized as him till the day I die. He was so proud of it and embraces it. Whereas the woman, remind me of her name again?
Oh, Miss Doyle?
Yes.
Yeah, Pauline McLean was the actress.
She actually, I guess, refused to be in any of the docs.
Oh.
And I think that they were kind of hinting at the fact that maybe she kind of felt like she was getting typecast as that character and didn't want to continue to be identified as her for the rest of her career.
Well, the strange thing about her, too, is they packed on a lot of makeup to age her because that's not the way she naturally looked there.
Think about, too, being a woman and the crux of the jokes about you are all about how hideous you are and how you're around these priests because there's no way they could be attracted to you.
Right. Well, in the one scene, I remember Miss Doyle is giving a bath to Father Dougal.
Yeah. There's so much physical humor. It'll go into a nice, good cerebral joke. It'll go into the physical humor, and then it'll hit you with some dumb fucking joke from Dougal, and you're like, it's kind of got all the bases covered.
Yeah.
And then they'll go to the window, and there was like 3 or 4 episodes where they'll look out the window, and it's just like stock footage of like random shit. Like it's just birds attacking or like a tornado.
Birds attacking, like nasty storm, like a hurricane or something like that. And the great thing is they go back to where, back in, like the parochial house, and you can see the sun is shining in.
Yeah. And they shot it on a set. The house is actually on that. I don't know if it's actually an island, but it's in.
No, it's in Ireland. It's in County Clare.
Yeah,
is where they shot it. Although there is an actual they created a thing like a Father Ted Fest, and there were 2 islands, Irish islands, that like were vying to be like who's the real Craggy Islands.
Well, and like, there's just, it's so absurd too, because I remember one episode, like, you can see where the house is. It's a big fucking open plain.
Yeah.
And there's one episode where there's like a storm and a tree falls through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, there's not a fucking tree for 100 miles in this fucking island. What the fuck are you talking about? but you just go with it because it was funny. Yeah. So much stupid shit like that. But yeah, Father Jack.
Yes.
That had to be so much fucking fun to play that piece of shit.
Basically, he has a limited vocabulary. He's just like an aged, decrepit, womanizing drunk priest that is he needs the other two to take care of him and Mrs. Doyle.
He does one of my techniques when I act, is one of my favorite things to do, because I don't see a lot of people do it, so I thought it was like, this is one of my... I do like what I call jaw acting. He does a lot of that. Mm-hmm. He's like doing a lot of acting with his jaw, moving it around, and like I like to grind my teeth if I have no lines, because I like attention. So if I don't have any, if it's not my lines, I'm trying to steal the fucking scene by grinding my teeth. Or
being that you like attention, you should probably start a podcast or something.
What? Never heard of a podcast.
As long as it's a podcast where we can drink.
Fuck off.
Yes, and I love the use of the word feck in the show.
Fuck off.
And for those that do not know what feck is, in Irish vernacular, it's basically fuck.
They certainly get away with a lot more than we could have.
Yes.
There's bare asses all over this.
It's all over the place. Oh, and yeah, arse. Yeah, that's the other one.
Who was it talking about The Simpsons? And they were like, for like 15 years, we showed Homer's ass all the time on The Simpsons. And then one day it wasn't okay anymore. But the funny thing they said was, The Simpsons has been in reruns since the day it started airing, pretty much.
Yeah.
So he goes, wait. So at 5 and 6 o'clock, you can show the reruns where Homer's running around naked. Mm-hmm. But at 8 o'clock, when it's more adult people watching, not okay.
Don't you make anything new showing an ass.
Yeah, don't you make any more new buttocks, but the old buttocks are okay
we can show those
when the kids are watching. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
The language they get away with here, the nudity. Oh, it's so much fun. It's freeing. And you kind of forget every once in a while, because we've watched so many American shows, everything but this, basically. Yeah, well, I guess we had one Canadian show, technically.
Yeah, for Kids in the Hall.
But yeah, so every once in a while you kind of forget and you go, oh, I forgot. We're in a whole nother country right here. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and a lot of the, because of standards and practices and such in the United States, there's a lot that they can't necessarily get away with. That
standards, I don't have those either.
No. Back off. But the series revolves around the three priests, and they're on this in this parochial house on Craggy Island because of doing they each have done something bad. Father Ted basically he found the money in his account and he gambled it. Father Dougal McGuire, what was it like? There was they called it the Black Rock incident, which resulted in many nuns' lives being irreparably damaged. I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, you don't want to leave him in charge of much. I remember the one where they let him do a funeral, and it just like a cutaway where it cuts to this funeral, and the fucking hearse is like driven into the grave, and it's on fire and explodes and shit. And he's just kind of like, that one got away from me, didn't it? Like, what the fuck? The couple who like always trying to murder each other, or, like beat the shit out of each other.
Season
and
1.
Then Father Ted shows up, like, oh hey, Father Ted.
Yes.
He's like fucking got like a noose around their neck. He's like, oh hey, Father, yeah, how are you?
Yeah, it's like his head's wrapped up like blood still pouring. It's like,
right.
Right. Just a little. But they lean on, I think, some of the other characters for series 2 and 3, with Bishop Brennan. I think has more appearances.
Is that the Bizarro Ted, basically, like the?
Oh no! Oh, the Bizarro Ted. That's what the hell's his name? Father.
If you remember the Seinfeld episode where they do like the Bizarro Jerry, and
Yes.
they have the basically the mirror image of the group. There's basically a group in this that is that same thing.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, Father Dick Byrne is from Rugged
His name's
Island.
Dick Byrne. That's
Father
That's
Dick
an unfortunate name. That is. You might want to get some antibiotics for that, Mr. Richard Byrne. Jesus.
But yes, they have the bizarre ones on the other island. You know,
And they're always on the
islands.
phone, so they have like the mirror image of the phone because you'll see Ted and Dougal and then Jack sitting in his chair, and then you have their versions of it, and it's a mirror image of the exact same apartment, basically, same room.
Yep. Yeah, and I was surprised by some of the things like, on the episode with the competition where the priests, the local priests, they have a competition where it's basically a Halloween dress up type of thing.
Are you referring to something else we talked about in the last episode about blackface?
Yeah, well, I am kind of referring to, that there was, Father Dick Byrne and his compatriots were dressed up, was it Diana Ross and
the
two Supremes.
Well, and we've talked about how much can you get away with if it's funny? And I just don't feel like Too Close for Comfort could get away with some of those things they were trying to do because it wasn't that funny.
Right.
This shit was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I actually the one you and I were talking about before too. It was the first episode of series 3.
Yeah, where he literally, isn't it called? He offends the Chinese community or something.
Yeah.
Father Ted offends the Chinese community.
Yeah. Basically, there was like a lampshade. Yeah, like they were trying to clean up the parochial house, and Father Dougal picks up a lampshade. And it's like, okay, I'm bored. Yeah, like he just picked up a lampshade and that was it. It's like, and Father Ted's like, oh no, look. Yeah, he picks it up and starts doing basically a Chinese caricature.
Yeah, he says like the kind of like the Lady in the Tramp line was like, "We are Chinese, if you please."
Right.
I know in Lady in the Tramp it was Siamese, but he says Chinese here.
Correct.
And of course, the second he does it, he looks out the window.
Yes, out the window is a family of Chinese people looking like.
And he's like, I wouldn't have done it if I knew there was a Chinese family there. And he goes, he's like, oh yeah, that was the new Chinatown. He's like, Craigie Island has a Chinatown?
So he runs out to chase them down. It's like, no, I'm not racist. I'm not racist.
Yeah.
Of which,
he's like, that's what we're telling people now. You're not racist. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wink, wink.
Whatever you say.
They really push the envelope at certain points, but like you said, when they did it, it was funny, and the fact of they knew that this would be construed as racist, but then the character saying, "Oh crap, I'm not racist. I'm not racist."
Yeah, and on top of that, there's a whole underlying thing with Nazi paraphernalia and
yes. Oh, okay. Yeah,
more misunderstandings.
Let's go into that episode because, there was also on the window there was a basically a rectangle of
smudge.
Dirt. Yeah, like a smudge like of dirt. And when the when the Chinese family came back, like he had invited them over, I believe,
to apologize.
Yeah, he's motioning to them and such
through the window.
Yeah, through the window. But the smudge is basically become a Hitler mustache.
Yeah, and his arm gestures do not help as he's trying to wave at them and call them into the window. And they're like, "Oh, why did I talk to this fascist?" And then he looks up and sees him.
It's like, no.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's another priest. I guess he have a home collection of Nazi paraphernalia?
Yes. Yeah, it's World War II paraphernalia. And then, like he shows it to Father Ted. It's like,
the only one interested in it is Father Ted because of the history. And then at some point in the episode, this priest dies and leaves him.
He and his friend, that you can see is an ex-Nazi. Yeah. Basically, they went to take Tylenol, but the ex-Nazi put it next to the cyanide capsules.
Yeah. Ironic, because Hitler.
Yes. And
yeah, so then he basically, again, he tries to invite all these different communities over to try to make amends to the house. And they're like, oh, this priest died and left you his collection because he knew how much you appreciated it. So there's swastikas and shit everywhere.
Yeah. Well, he before coming back home to that, like the boxes came and he told Mrs. Doyle, yeah, please, use your discretion and put these, hang the stuff up, because he was waiting for some other, just basically basic priest stuff, because there were things that were falling apart.
Well, he also says he has like a sexist joke too, because he's like, unpack, decorate. I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm a man. I'm a man.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm a man.
Yeah. But there's also the running joke about Dougal getting a hamster, and he has this little fucking bicycle. So in the midst of all this, when these groups show up, the fucking hamster rides the little bicycle across the floor. Like, it's so dumb, but it's so well crafted.
Yes.
The one on the plane stands out to me. That shit was funnier than hell.
Definitely. That was great. Like a whole plane load of priests and nuns.
You get all the side priests too, which is nice. You get kind of all of them, because a lot of them you'll have a priest show up here for an episode or two, and they'll kind of come in and out. But this one, you had all of the side priests on the same.
Yeah. Did you realize one of the priests was Graham Norton? Graham Norton, he's a known Irish comedian.
He's in a few of them,
Graham
right?
Norton show.
Yeah, he's in a few of them, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, he was Father Noel Furlong in the plane episode.
But yeah, there's the great bit on that where, like, of course you have Dougal up in the cockpit, and there's the do not press the button thing.
Yeah, well, there's two sets too. At the one point, it's like, do not press this button, and then there's another one, emergency button. Yeah, and then at the one point,
he's just staring at it with those big stupid eyes.
Yeah, it's like. You could tell he wants to press the do not press button, but then the pilot basically tells him to press the emergency button. Yeah, and then you realize afterwards
the other button.
He pressed the other button anyway.
Yeah. So Father Ted kind of takes control, and he's like, "All right, there's only 2 parachutes on the whole plane." He's like, "Everyone write like what do you say, under 200-word essay about why you deserve the parachutes."
Right.
Meanwhile, Jack just takes the fucking parachute, puts it on.
He takes both parachutes.
Yeah. And he puts the other parachute on the fucking beverage cart with all the booze on it and just pushes it out the fucking plane and jumps after it. So they don't even know that, though, at this point.
Right.
But you have, like, the one priest who basically comes out, "I'm in love with this priest." And they're like, "Oh,
yeah, it's like, yeah, I love him, so he should get the thing, not me."
Yeah. Which they do a great little recall at the end when it just cuts back to their once they realize the plane's gonna make it. There's the awkward
landed
moment
or whatever. It's like, oh,
yeah. There's a lot of good shit in that episode.
And what was it like? Some of the other priests where they were like, reading their thing. One of the priests, like he drew himself like naked peeing on a dog.
I think that was a leash. I don't think he was peeing on it.
Oh, okay.
Tells me a lot about your psyche, though, Nick.
And it's like, wait, what were we supposed to do?
I wasn't listening to the first part.
I wasn't listening to the first part.
Yeah,
oh my god, that was a great one.
The one right after that was the Christmas special, which had it was like an hour-long episode. The first act, I think, was the funniest, where they go to like a it's kind of like a Macy's, I guess, and they're trying to find the perfume section, but they get lost in the lingerie section.
Oh no.
And the second him and Dougal walk into the lingerie section, they start finding all the other priests who are actually like playing with the panties and shit.
Oh god.
And now he starts seeing all the women are kind of looking over, so they hide. He's like, "We have 8 priests in the lingerie section at a store." He's like, "We're gonna be all over the papers." So it's like a fucking, it's almost like a Poseidon adventure trying to get him out of the lingerie section.
Oh no.
It's like a rescue mission.
Oh my god. I have to watch that one. I watched the one where the three bishops come to visit because they're going to upgrade one of the things. It was like the rock of I forget to write it down.
Upgrade it to like a
to a
monument
class 2,
or something. Yeah,
to a class 2 relic. And it's like, and then I think Doyle asks, it's like not Doyle, Dugan asks, how do they determine what's which relics become the next level? And it's like, oh, I'm sure they have a very strong vetting process. And then you just see a couple of priests like the one's at a computer and just like presses a key. Yeah, I guess that one, the rock of whatever. Yeah, we'll make that a class 2.
How do you think priests felt about this show?
I don't know.
You think they were offended by this show?
Possibly. But
the one, did you watch the one where they go on the annual excursion to the the trailer park, the campers?
No, I didn't watch that one yet.
That was funny. Like every turn, the cops are showing up because like they first show up and it's just the 3 priests and they walk into the camper like, wow, this is much nicer than last year. This guy walks out of the shower butt ass naked. They're like, what the hell? And all of a sudden it cuts to like the cops are there and he's like, we thought we were in the wrong camper. We didn't know, But every time they turn around and do something, they look like perverts. So like the police are always there. He's like, this is your last chance, Father. And he's like, I swear I'm sorry, It was funny.
Oh, did you watch the one with kicking Bishop Brennan up the arse? It was the 5th episode from series 3 and the 6th episode. I watched the second part. That was a good one because the bishop also has a new sidekick or whatever you want to call assistant that he just speaks in sarcasm. So Mrs. Doyle doesn't know what to do. It's like, would you like some tea? Because she's always pushing tea on everyone. It's like, would you like some tea? Go on. It's like, oh yeah, I'd love some tea. The most persistent
bitch ever, too.
What's that?
If they say the most persistent bitch ever, too.
Oh, yes.
Would you like some tea? Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, you drink the tea.
No,
I don't. I'm good. You're gonna drink the tea. Drink the tea. Drink the tea. No, I'm good. Drink the tea. Drink the tea. She's like the one episode. Was it the first one or something where she's like, just drink the tea. Drink the tea. Drink the tea. Drink the tea. And he's like, okay, I'll drink the tea. Oh, you like the tea? Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And actually, in the Christmas special one, he buys an automatic tea machine and it like destroys her.
Oh no.
She's like, I don't know. She doesn't know what to do. So she's like sabotaging the fucking tea machine.
Oh my god. But this one is great because the guy talks in sarcasm. So he basically, Father Ted's like, whatever he says, it's the opposite. So yeah, I'll have a cup. Like she's trying to figure out like.
She's never quite on the pulse. Like, even the airplane one we just mentioned.
Yes.
As soon as they get home, Father Ted had to save the day. He climbed out on the wheel or on the wing and reattached the fuel lines and shit. And now he's terrified and stuck to basically the wheel that's still in the house now. And she cuts all the sandwiches into planes.
Yes.
Like, she's so fucking ignorant to anything that's going on that you gotta love her because she just doesn't get it. Yeah.
But, that one was awesome. And, with that assistant that, the sarcastic assistant, Father Jack basically, at the one point, kind of grabs him, pulls him into his room and stuffs him into his hamper filled with his old underwear and padlocks it. So later on, he's like, help. It's like, and then, Mrs. Doyle comes there and it's like, please let me out. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah. And then walks away. It's like, oh, right, he's being sarcastic.
I felt like I was watching the Saw film franchise because, Jack dies in episode 6, but he's somehow still there for the rest of it.
Yes.
Jack just keeps dying, though. He's like Kenny on South Park.
Like episode 6, I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, I think that was the only one where he outright died.
Yeah.
But
every other episode, he's drinking like turpentine or arsenic or all kinds of shit, and
floor cleaner and
or 100 bottles of whiskey. Yeah, that motherfucker's dead. What doesn't Dougal even say? Like, so is Jack just a ghost now? And he's like, I don't know, Dougal. That's just like the end of the episode.
Oh yeah, I love that the one like the thing also started with Dougal talking about ghosts. Have you ever seen a ghost? And it's like I came downstairs, I heard a noise and I saw a figure and it had white hair. It's like, Dougal, was it possibly me sitting on the couch that you saw?
Oh.
I
love that one too. I think it's
guess
the
I
one
didn't
where
see a ghost then.
where Jack dies. That they also kind of introduce the Dougal's inability to speak to women in any manner.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think doesn't a nun show up and he's just every time she's out of the room he's trying to like fancy himself up. Oh, she's pretty. You think and you're a fucking priest for one, but two, every time a woman comes into the room he just stares and he can't fucking say a word. Or they knock on the door and he opens the door and just shuts the fucking door real slowly. Like he just can't. He has no ability to speak to women.
But like again, you and I did not know these, actors, actresses before the show, but I was so happy that they were cast in this show.
Well, it makes me so sad now learning, like that Dermot Morgan is dead. He died at 40.
And also Frank Kelly.
Kelly. He lived a lot longer than.
Yes, I think
Dermot
he lived
Morgan,
to 2016. I think they said
Dermot was only 45, died of a heart attack.
Yeah,
shit. And my father died of a heart attack at 48. So, I thought that was bad. But this guy, top of the world, top of the morning, starring in this great show. But as we said, he did kind of want to move on and apparently had some other dramatic series in the works.
Lined up, yeah.
And was looking forward to that, so that does suck. But I would say watch the first episode and then go to series 2 and go from there.
Yes.
And then go back, because I don't know that if you just watch it through, I don't know that first series would hook you.
No, it had moments within it.
No, it was good, but it wasn't as amazing as it got.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
I realized too, especially the way they talked about how it started from them going boring. Priests are boring. They live a boring life.
Yes.
There's a lot of playing with that boring in that first series.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think they realized how they could kind of grasp outside and go for the absurd shit more in the second series. So good in the first series, not amazing. I think the first episode is brilliant.
Yes.
And then series 2, episode 1 and on, so far from what I've seen, is amazing.
It's not drink, Father, it's just fizzy water.
Jacob's Creek Chardonnay 1991.
You tell them just from the sound.
Drink.
Yeah, this show's on YouTube. There's no reason you shouldn't watch it.
Yeah,
there's a playlist, all 25 episodes. Actually, and if we talk about writers and directors, it looks like those 2 writers wrote everything. I only saw 2 writers' names on it.
Yeah,
and the
Matthews
weird with the
and
directors,
Lenahan.
though, I saw the directors. There was one with 17 and one with 4, which doesn't equal 25. So
no, yeah, I wasn't sure on that part of it.
Is there a few uncredited directors? I guess.
I don't
so that'd be
know,
4.
I'm not sure.
That'd be what, 4 episodes uncounted for?
I have to go back through the list. But yeah, it was interesting. The one guy though, not Matthews, Lenahan. Drink. He actually would put on, like, he was part of a musical group and comedy group, and one of the things he would do before their show is he would dress up like a priest, call himself Father Ted, and do like an act.
The one of the creators and writers there on the doc, he talked about how funny the main actor who played Father Ted was, but he said that he used to get irritated with him because he was so into entertaining the audience. They didn't have a warm-up guy for the audience. Like a lot of sitcoms, I don't think a lot of people know, but a lot of sitcoms, they will have a comedian or somebody come out, interact with the audience, and get them warmed up for the show, ready to laugh.
Right.
They didn't have that, apparently, on this show. So the main actor, the star of the show, Father Ted, would come out, and he was playing it up and hamming it up for the audience. And he's like, that's great. But he said it would take a lot away from him focusing on the script and what he needed to do and learn his lines. And
got it.
So on tape nights, he said he would get a little irritated with that. And he had a few discussions, but he loved hamming it up so much. And the show had become so big, especially by the second series, that he just wanted to get out there and like soak in the love of the audience, which, I'm a ham. I get it.
But Graham Linehan, he also was one of the creators of, he wrote and directed the IT crowd, the one we were looking at as a possibility.
Yep. And I have a feeling that a lot of these guys are going to kind of pop up when we start doing other shows from, especially Britain, I assume. Do you think this show could have been adapted to America?
They tried 3 times.
Did they really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Tell me.
There were 3 times they actually tried to adapt this for American
so they just
audiences.
Shot 3 different pilots?
I don't know if pilots were even created. Let's see. 2003, they announced it's going to be remade for the American market. Scripted by Spike Feresten, who worked on Seinfeld and The Simpsons.
Actually, Spike Feresten, I used to talk to on Facebook a lot.
Oh, nice.
He actually is a very nice guy. I haven't talked to him in probably 10 years now, but back when I was very into late night talk shows, I was very into Conan and all that shit. He had a show on Fox, a talk show called I think it was called Talk Show with Spike Feresten.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he was a writer, I think, in the last couple seasons of Seinfeld. Maybe it wasn't even Facebook. Maybe it was like MySpace or something. But it was like one of the first celebrities I ever like reached out to online and would respond to me. Very funny guy, very funny writer.
They tried doing it again in 2004. They tried to do a remake for US. Steve Martin and Graham Norton would play Ted and Dougal.
Wow. So they pulled somebody, a side character from the original show, too. That's interesting.
But, and then...
Steve Martin, I don't know. Like,
I could kind of see that, actually, in a way.
Well, I feel like that would turn out like when he did the Pink Panther. Remember when he tried to be...
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, he tried to be Peter Sellers.
To be fair... you're not going to beat Peter Sellers. Steve Martin's a funny guy. I thought his performance was funny,
but it wasn't.
The thing was, I think the original Pink Panther movies, even though they're not rated, like I think they're like G and PG movies.
I think they're PG.
They got away with more because of the time.
Oh yeah, well, a PG movie back then, there was no PG-13.
Right. So I think that when they did the Steve Martin one, I think they needed a little more edge maybe to get away with some things that they couldn't do. I thought his performance was good, and they got 2 of them out of him. So one of the best characters in the old ones was Herbert Loam as Dreyfus.
Yes. Oh, with the twitch. That
eventually he gets that like after the second or third movie or whatever. Yeah. But I think in the remakes, I want to say it was Kevin Kline the first time, and then it was Cleese they replaced him with the second one. But
I think so. But yeah, I was very hesitant to watch those, given like my affinity for the original ones.
Demburger. He does the accent, so I wonder if he would have tried to do the accent, is what I was saying, for like Ted.
Oh, possibly. But these were actually these American remakes. Like, his version with the Steve Martin one was supposed to be a fictional island off the coast of New York. And then there was another one that was supposed to be off the coast of New England.
So they never shot any of the pilots, huh?
No.
Damn. That'd have been fun. I would have liked to see one of those.
Yeah, apparently January 2015, Linehan said there's been a few attempts by U.S. People to remake the show, but yeah, it hasn't happened.
And I don't know, you hear all about the woke culture. I mean, the power of the Catholic Church.
Right.
Who knows if you could make this show
Well,
anymore?
that was one of the actual concerns when they were trying in 2007. It's like they were concerned about the show's religious themes.
Oh, God. But, I mean, there's a voice for everybody, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, someone's got to take a jab at everything, okay? You know what I mean? I'm not out there telling people to stop making fat jokes because guess what? Even though I'm fat jokes are fucking funny, all right,
Yes.
motherfuckers? I don't care who you are. I think that everything is open to parody, to everyone should be able to poke fun at themselves no matter where you come from, what color, what race, okay?
Well, that's what humor is supposed to be. It's supposed to be just a humorous way to look at things and to take away the power of a lot of the things.
If you can't step back, look at yourself, and see the humor in some of those things, I'm sorry, but you're an idiot. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is.
No, I'm with you. There's a lot nowadays that's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But one thing that we also didn't go into. What did you think about the music? It was done by an Irish pop group called Divine Comedy.
That's the opening theme or just the music in general?
The music in general, but even the opening theme.
The opening theme, and this is, I don't usually love instrumentals. This one, though, it fits the show. It works perfectly with the show.
Totally fits the show.
Especially paired with the visuals of the opening, which are pretty funny. Like, starts out, you're sweeping landscapes and, it's like a aerial view. But then it cuts to the front of the house and you see the four characters standing out front. And they basically make it look like
a bomb.
The plane is like crashing into the fucking... yeah. So, I mean, it works. And, like, that's not an original song, though. Is it more of an older, is that like an old folk song or something?
That's what I was trying to, like, understand, like, with the music. It sounded like they were trying to do sort of a parody of...
Something reminiscent to some kind of old folky... Because the guy who wrote it, or I don't know if he plays it, it was in the documentary playing it as well on the piano. And the way, I don't remember exactly what he said, but the way he spoke about it almost seemed like it wasn't original, but it was like he was very pleased to be asked to do it. So I don't know for sure, but.
Let's go to the list.
Yeah.
Where do you put Father Ted on the list? Rating it with all these U.S. sitcoms.
Well, I was actually pretty shocked going through here and looking at some of these things that I've held dear my entire life, and I like to think that I have an open mind. And last week we talked about a show that has some similarities, and I think did some of these things that this show does well. I think Too Close for Comfort did them wrong, and that show ended up at number 29. For me, Father Ted falls at number 14.
Okay.
Out of the 35 shows we've talked about, actually putting it for me right under Modern Family.
Oh, wow.
And right above The Addams Family.
And the crazy thing is, I'm looking at putting it 2 above The Addams Family and right above That 70s Show, right behind Freaks and Geeks.
Okay. What number is that for you?
Again, I gotta renumber my damn thing.
You say that every episode. How about you fucking do it?
Oh, but that would require me actually getting to it. And
every episode he goes, I'm gonna redo this, but he never fucking does it, does he? God.
No, anyway. I don't. Hey, we need a recurring bit, don't we?
This is 35 shows, huh?
Yeah.
35 shows we've covered so far. And this one was a sleeper hit that I didn't even know I was going to love. It came out of nowhere.
Same here.
It ends up at 14.
I just was looking through the list of things that you and I both could watch based on the streamers, and I just happened to notice, like, wow, this gets some high marks, like, from IMDb. It gets high marks, like on some of these lists. Like, let's try it out.
Well, how do you think this formula would? And I can't believe they never tried. How come they don't adapt this smaller season formula to American shows? Are they just so money hungry for commercial money?
Well, I'm sure that's part of it, but I don't know if there's something also when it comes to contracts for, like, remember how some of the newer shows, like, remember Partners, like the newer thing was, if you got past 10 shows,
that was a completely different. That was a new thing, though.
Yeah, that was a new thing, but yeah, I think there's like it's I don't know if it's just a.
And we're in the advent of streaming as well, which is actually what apparently that whole writer's strike is about now.
Yes,
it's all about the money, how they're not really getting their money for streaming.
Well, so it's streaming. It's also when it comes to some of the reality shows and shows like that are sketch shows, like a Whose Line Is It Anyway? That like there are writers on that show, and they really get nothing.
Well, they're saying, like, if you write an episode of Stranger Things, you get paid one time to write that script, turn it in, but you're not getting money based on clicks and views.
Nope.
Because Netflix doesn't even release that shit. So
right,
you don't even know how many views they have.
Yeah, with the writer's strike, I think one of the biggest things, like what you're saying with streaming and that, a lot of the writers, it's become a gig. Like gig economy, where it's like, we're just gonna hire you for X number of episodes of this, and that, like, or you're like, one episode at a time. Yeah, we'll pay you for that, but nothing else. That's it.
Well, they're saying, like, it used to be back in the golden age of a lot of these shows we talked about, regular television, you would get your residuals for every time a show aired. So even though you only worked maybe 24 weeks out of the year, you made 24 episodes or helped work on 24 episodes, you would constantly be getting paid even in your off months because the shows are airing and rerunning. That's not the case anymore.
No.
So a lot of writers aren't able to keep the food on the table without a constant job.
Correct.
And a lot of these shows, they're not given as much time as they once were. If you have a show hit Netflix and it doesn't hit immediately, it's gone. And then you have to find your next show. No matter how many people are watching your last show, you're not getting paid for that anymore. So it is interesting. I kind of looked into a little bit. I watched some interviews and stuff. And it is something that probably needs to be talked about. And I think the funniest thing is they're only asking for a 2% raise.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Now,
and when you look at the guy that with HBO Max, soon to be Max, and Discovery, like that combination, that guy makes, what was it, 200 something million a year.
True. It's like one of the reasons I started bringing up writers and directors is because I don't think they get enough attention. Actors get all of the attention.
Of course.
And I think, especially with mainstream audiences, it's easy to watch a show that you love and you to watch Friends and you go, oh, that Rachel's so funny or that Ross is so funny. You're not thinking about the 85 writers who wrote those jokes for them to say that you fell in love with. You and I could quote fucking TV shows all day long, but even we can't go, I know who wrote that joke and they deserve a fucking 2% raise. I don't care what you say.
No, but it's part of also our discovery process here, going back into these shows and like, oh, who created these? Who wrote these? Who directed these? Because not enough attention gets to that. And like you said, the actor is the out front, the visual part. So it's like, oh, great. Yeah, it's like, it's because of, this person that I watch the show. It's like, yeah, but that person is given a script written by these people.
Man, anything else you want to cover real quick?
No, I think that's mainly what I wanted to hit on this one.
Go watch Father Ted. It's great. It's great. And
and we will at times, jump into a little, British and, I don't know, maybe some Canadian or,
If you are Catholic or are an offensive little flower, you might not want to watch this show. But, like I said, find a way to laugh at yourself because it's the only fucking way you're going to get through this life happy.
Yeah,
Okay?
and here's the thing. I was raised Catholic, so you know what?
Were you really?
I can see the humor in the show. So
I was not raised.
Okay.
I don't know how the fuck I got here, to be honest.
All I got to say to that is,
Back off!
bang it!
Well, you can find our show anywhere you get your podcasts. Find us on Facebook.com/SitcomMyFace. Tweet us at SitcomMyFace. Find this boy over here on Twitch at twitch.tv/netnick191. I am on twitch.tv/BidwellFog. Find my channel Noob Sweat at BidwellFog on YouTube. Email us at sitcommyface@gmail.com. And fuck off!